I woke to the feeling of being watched. Opening my eyes, I caught a glimpse of someone standing near my bed. Before I could say anything, they walked away. Moments later, Tracy entered the room. She seemed hesitant, which put me on edge immediately. She said that the person was Charlie and from her old group. I didn't want to show my unease to Tracy though. Instead, I told her we need to do a sweep of the area. There's been a lot of new faces around here. We need to make sure that it's still safe. I geared up and decided to head out alone. My old sports car wasn't going to cut it anymore. If we were going to build a community, or even just survive with this many people, I need something that could carry more than a couple of passengers. The blizzard had settled to a relentless, icy drizzle. As I trudged through the snow-covered streets, most vehicles I came across either too damaged or inaccessible, the doors frozen shut or batteries long dead. When I returned, Tracy and Edward were talking in the hallway. They stopped as soon as they saw me, which only made my discomfort grow. As we packed supplies for the sweep, Edward mentioned something odd. He's been wondering if the zombies migrate, like if left alone in an area for too long, do they just wander back in? We didn't have any evidence, but the idea stuck with me. It didn't take too long to find trouble. A small group of zombies had shuffled their way into the neighborhood, their dark, frostbitten skin blending in with the icy landscape. Further out, we checked the old checkpoint. There were only a few zombies lingering there, which seemed to confirm Edward's migration theory. The thought was troubling. Zombies could drift back into the cleared areas. Maintaining a safe perimeter would be an endless task. On the way back, we stopped by Alan's place. To my surprise, he wasn't alone. A woman named Ruth had joined him. Alan greeted us warmly, saying his house had plenty of space if we ever wanted to move in. I thanked him but declined. For now, my house was still my refuge. Too many people under one roof felt like too big of a task. Back at home, I settled by the fire with a book, letting the warmth seep into my bones. The day had been long, and the tension of watching Tracy, Edward, and now Charlie weighed on me. I set out to build a haven, but it was starting to feel like a balancing act. Every new survivor brought their own baggage, their own complications. How many more could I take in before things spiraled out of control? The morning felt different. The usual chatter, footsteps, or sounds of someone moving about were absent. It was a kind of silence that sank into your bones and whispered that something was wrong. When I reached the door, I found the answer. A zombie was clawing at it. Its frostbitten hands scraped against the wood, leaving faint, icy streaks behind. Without hesitation, I grabbed my axe and slipped out the back, moving around the house to deal with it. That's when I saw the horde. I swung my axe again and again, each hit reverberating through my arms. I tried shouting for help, but the howling wind and the moans of the zombies drowned out my voice. It was as if the world itself was conspiring to silence me. My muscles screamed for relief as I fought to hold them back, but they kept coming. Every time I thought I cleared enough, more shoveled in from the storm. When the last zombie fell, I almost collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. My body felt like it had been through the meat grinder, but the fight was over. I made my way to Alan's house, needing to check in. But when I got there, the place was empty. Not even a sign of their presence. The red hatchback that worked so hard to recover yesterday, gone. A pit formed in my stomach as I rushed back home. Inside, the cupboards and shelves I organized were ransacked. Nearly half of my supplies, food, medicine, and ammo were gone. I stood there, staring at the empty spaces where my provisions once were, as realization hit me like a sledgehammer. They had taken everything they could carry and left me to die. I couldn't sit still. The emotions roared inside me like a storm, threatening to consume me. So I forced myself to move. Grabbing my propane torch and mask, I headed to the nearby homes and began dismantling anything I could find. Sinks, dishwashers, laundry. The work was monotonous, mindless, and exactly what I needed. Each weld, each spark gave me a fleeting sense of control, distraction from the betrayal that gnawed at my thoughts. But no matter how much I worked, the emptiness lingered. By the time I had returned home, the sun had dipped below the horizon, and the cold had deepened. Normally I'd light the fire, cook something, try to make the space feel less desolate. But tonight, I couldn't bring myself to do it. The betrayal still hung heavy on my mind, but I couldn't let myself sit around and wallow in it. Not anymore. If I stayed in this headspace, I wouldn't survive long enough to do anything about it. I got up, took stock of what was left. The house felt emptier without the others, quieter, colder. I decided to head out on foot, not wanting to risk my car. The snowstorm was relentless, but I figured I could push through. Maybe there'd be something left at the checkpoint. Maybe I could find food beyond it. Maybe I could stop feeling like I was just wasting away here. My fingers and toes started to go numb, the early signs of hypothermia setting in. Eventually, my body forced me to relent, and I had no choice but to turn back. Back home, the silence hit me again, heavier than before. A sneeze broke through the stillness. Of course. This was the price of my carelessness. What was the point of all this? The house, the supplies, the fighting. It all felt meaningless in the face of everything I had lost. Maybe tomorrow would be better. Maybe it wouldn't. I didn't know. I wasn't sure I cared. For now, all I could do was survive the night. morning felt different, lighter maybe. Yesterday still clung to me, but it wasn't as crushing. I wasn't drowning in my sorrow anymore. I was still sick, still worn down, but I wasn't useless. I could do something today, even if it was small. The first thing on the list, firewood. Oh yeah, the generator. I stashed this back here when I had first brought it home, but without a manual, it was nothing more than a glorified hunk of metal. But if I could get my hands on a manual, I could get it running. And if I got it running, then I would have power. That's good. That's a good idea. Maybe I should go for an outing. I wasn't about to risk my sports car on a supply run. It was fast, sure, but I'd rather not risk it. I need something sturdy, but also disposable. For the first time in a while, I felt something close to hope. It was fragile, but I'm holding on to it.